Hello, my name is Sergio Loriano Salazar, and this is our presentation for our study abroad trip for El Salvador. El Salvador is a Central American country that is geographically part of the North American continent. It is located between Guatemala and Honduras and is surrounded on the southwest by the Pacific Ocean. I will now show our study abroad promotional video just so you guys can catch a glimpse on what you'll be experiencing on this trip. Alrighty, now we'll go back to the presentation. Okay, the purpose and objective of the program will be the first thing we will discuss. I made a list of the key topics that our group will address during the presentation. The first thing to consider is the trip's primary goal. We aim to explain why students should consider enrolling in our International Study Abroad program. The students will next be informed about the kind of excursions and locations they will visit throughout the trip. The third topic we'll have to address is the travel dates and the activities we'll be doing daily throughout the trip. To interact with the Salvadorians, the students will learn some fundamental Spanish phrases before the trip begins. Finally, we will talk about the expenses of the study abroad trip to El Salvador. So the purpose of this study abroad program in El Salvador is designed to help students learn a new language, appreciate other cultures, overcome the challenges of living in another country, and acquire a great understanding of the world. When it comes to hiring, modern companies look for all these characteristics and they only become more important in the future. Our objective for the Appalachian State University Study Abroad program is to expand learning opportunities and computer information systems so that students will get a deeper understanding of other cultures and worldwide business processes, as well as global technologies and new innovations.
What's up, guys? My name is Jared Yates, and I'm going to give a real quick rundown of the activities planned in our hypothetical travel abroad trip, along with a few reasons why we chose each one of these destinations. So, the first excursion we planned was a trip to the Art Museum of El Salvador. This location, which was built in 2003, allows visitors such as me and my teammates to observe cultural artifacts created over the last century or so. In this 13,000 square foot facility, visitors can see paintings, drawings, sculptures, and many other works of art. Art is often a reflection of culture, and viewing this art museum will give visitors an intimate insight into El Salvadorian culture. So the next stop we did was the San Salvador National Palace. This building is the rebuilt palace of a no longer existent monarchy of El Salvador. This building was originally destroyed in December of 1889 by fire, but has since been rebuilt several times, with significant additions being made throughout the 19th and 20th century. Touring this building will give students a chance to better understand the history of the region and begin to understand the culture and recent history of El Salvador in a more holistic manner. So the next sites our group will plan to visit are sites of worship, as well as magnificent and opulent architecture. The first of these is the Cathedral de Metropolitana. Excuse my pronunciation. The Spanish colonial-style cathedral houses the monument of Archbishop Oscar Romero, who was assassinated in 1990 and later canonized as a saint by Pope Francis. This location is a pilgrimage destination for many of El Salvador's religious folks, along with Catholics and tourists from all over the world. An interesting fact about this location is that it has been destroyed multiple times by fires and earthquakes, and it has been rebuilt repeatedly, last time in 1999. So the next site we picked to visit was the Basilica de Sagrado Corazon. This church is not only massive, but is also home to some of the most peculiar and unique architecture in the Western Hemisphere. The outside of the church is constructed of metal sheets, but these are painted and arranged to look as if they were made out of stone. The building is known to be larger on the inside than it appears to be on the outside, and the interior is extravagant and opulent and reflects European cathedral architecture of the last several centuries. So one of the most interesting locations we picked was El Zonte Beach, also known as Crypto Beach. This strip of the Pacific coastline is one of the few places on the entire planet where Bitcoin can be used for everyday transactions, even legal transactions. The president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, has proposed a bill that would make make El Salvador the first nation on earth to use Bitcoin as legal tender and their official currency. This is definitely a risky proposition, as Bitcoin is extremely volatile and is hyper-responsive to trends, but El Salvador would still be the first nation to adopt such a financial strategy, which may pay dividends in the long run and could, convince other nations to follow suit. Our next destination was the Santa Ana volcano. This is a landmark 30 miles west of San Salvador and is the namesake for which El Salvador's capital city is named. This is the largest volcano in El Salvador and is adorned with many fascinating and unique geological features. Chief among these is a 20-kilometer long system of fissures that is slowly splitting off into fissure systems. It's a rare opportunity to get to see geology taking place right in front of your eyes, and this will be a valuable experience. The crater of the volcano also contains a lake and many hiking trails. These trails will allow tourists and also my teammates to interact with the diverse wildlife and ecosystem of the region. An interesting fact about this volcano is that it last erupted in 1917. The 1917 eruption is the event that caused a crater to form at the peak of the mountain. And this last eruption displaced 10 million cubic meters of lava. Our final destination is, in my opinion, one of the most fascinating locations in the Western Hemisphere, and probably one of the most fascinating places in the entire world. Hoya Siren Archaeological Park is a Mayan village that was buried under volcanic ash 1400 years ago. This probably sounds familiar. That's likely because it's the exact same fate that befell the Roman city of Pompeii 600 years prior to the events that buried this place. Not only is this site unbelievably well preserved compared to most archaeological sites that are 1400 years old, but it also acts as a time capsule to what life was like 800 years ago in the New World before the arrival of Christopher Columbus. Seeing a place such as this will certainly inspire a greater appreciation of pre Columbian culture in the New World, and will certainly allow students to better internalize historical events of the last millennia, especially those inhabiting ancient inhabitants of the New World in the post Columbian era. Thank you.
So for a group project, it's very important to have a planned itinerary and, just know what you're doing going into the trip so it's as educational and formal as possible. So, we created a tentative schedule through March 7th through the 16th, and I just highlighted some interesting things for the day, that specific day. So March 7th, we're going to be leaving from Charlotte Douglas Airport. Then March 8th will be our first full day in El Salvador, which first off we'll visit the National Palace and Plaza Libertad, then La Gastroteca, the restaurant. That'll be pretty good. Then we're going to Basilia Sagrado Corazon, and then Plaza Berrios shopping center the next day. Then March 10th, we're looking at a trip to Mirador Municipal Overlook. This is going to be out of town. We're going to take a shuttle there. We'll also visit Ruta de las Flores. It's a colorful town. It has a lot of flowers and stuff. It's a beautiful place. Then we're going to eat at a restaurant that night there. Then March 11th, slower day, we just have a global technologies workshop, and then it's a lot of free time for the students. And then March 12th, we will be visiting San Salvador Art Museum. Also, we'll be visiting Crypto Beach and having dinner at Cavana Kitchen that night. And then for March 13th, we're going to be visiting Santa Ana Volcano in El Salvador, and then we're going to have dinner near the volcano that night. And then we're going to go back to Crypto Beach on March 14th and visit the sea caves. So that'll be fun. That'd be pretty cool. And then March 15th, we are going to be taking a surf class along with a fishing excursion, and we're also going to be having dinner at La Libertad. And then I don't have it up here, but March 16th will be the day that we're leaving. So, it's pretty full encompassing, trip. A lot of stuff to do. It'll be very interesting. And then, so after the itinerary, language competency. This is, there is a language barrier between El Salvador and the U.S., English and Spanish. So just, get some basic phrases out there. Just get ahead of the trip. So for greetings and transitions, for hi and hello, it's hola. Good morning is buenos dias. Good afternoon, buenas tardes. Good night, buenas noches. So some transitions. My name is going to be me llamo. What's your name will be como te llamas. Nice to meet you. Encantada de conocerte. That will be just some basic greetings and transitions, pretty straightforward. I feel like a lot of people already know. For small talk, how are you is como estás. Where do you live is donde vives. Where are you going is going to be a donde vas. How old are you is cuántos años tienes. What is your phone number? ¿Cuál es tu número de teléfono? So those are just some pretty, just small talk, you're just getting to know someone, little different things, just sparking a conversation. And then if you're dealing with problems, this is really, it's like risk stuff, if you need help with anything, where's the hotel? It's going to be donde está el hotel? Where can I find the police? Donde puedo encontrar la policía? Where's a hospital? Donde hay un hospital? Where's the ATM? Donde hay un cajero automático? Where can I find a taxi? Will be donde puedo encontrar un taxi? All right. Did not mean to go there. Um, but yeah, it's important to get a little more than just like a base level of the language. But overall, like this is just a good slight understanding. The more you can learn before the trip, the better. But it's recommended that.
Hi, my name is Colbert, and I will be covering the last section of the presentation on El Salvador. And I will start off my section of the presentation with some quick, interesting facts about our country, El Salvador. The primary language spoken in El Salvador is Spanish. Nahuatl is also spoken in some communities. The capital is San Salvador. El Salvador is the most compact country in Central America and has a population of just over 6 million people. Also, Salvadorans are known as guanacos, which means brotherhood in Spanish. Also, interestingly, it actually is a translation to a domesticated llama, which is kind of I thought was pretty funny, a little bit different. But I think in this case, it definitely means something a little bit closer to brotherhood. And one thing that many people do not know about El Salvador is they use the US dollar as their official currency, as well as the Salvador colon, which is their own currency that they use. The exchange rate is 8.75 to 1 US dollar. So basically, almost 9 Salvadoran colones is 1 US dollar, close to there. They use the US dollar to give them more bargaining power with foreign markets. El Salvador was inhabited by Paleo-Indian people as early as 10,000 years ago, and their paintings can still be seen in caves. Hopefully, we can visit an area where these paintings are still seen and see these paintings up close in person. In 1993, Pope John Paul II visited El Salvador. More than 50% of El Salvadorans are Catholics, and this can almost help explain how El Salvadorians experience society and their societal makeup, being that a lot of it is faith-based and faith-driven. The flag of El Salvador was officially made in 1920 by a colonel named Manuel Jose Acri. And the blue stripes on the flag symbolize unity, while the white stripes symbolize peace. And now on to pricing. So the first thing worth mentioning in regards to pricing is the total cost of the trip will be $4,200, all inclusive, and that will cover everything from plane tickets to food and even to cab and bus fare while on the trip. To further break this down, airfare will cost in total $950, and that is round trip flights with no layover there or back. The plane seats will likely be in the same area of the plane, so if you're going with a friend, you can be seated closely together on the flight. The hotel cost for the trip is $700. To break that down a little bit, the first hotel we're staying at is $300 in total for the nights we're there, and the second hotel, being that it's a little bit nicer and in a different area, it is $400 per night for that, or $400 total for the nights that we're there. Transportation costs are $800, and that is for all cab expenses and a bus ride to get to the second section of the trip, the second area of the trip that we're going to be in. In total, all activities will cost $1,000. A food budget is averaged on the trip to make sure that we are all well fed and well energized while on the trip, and it comes out to just around $350. $100 of that will actually be yours to spend on whatever you want, or food-wise. So while we're touring around El Salvador, if you want to try some street food, is what we would recommend. Something like that. That would be completely up to you. The last part of the budget is $400, and it is for miscellaneous expenses. Those being anything that we run into while we're on the trip that needs to be accounted for. We have that safety net to account for that. And just a little bit of a recap: why you should visit El Salvador. Firstly, learn their culture. It's a very interesting culture, and some can really meet some great people there. Their food and the fresh seafood, being that they're on the sea, they definitely have some of the best seafood in the world, and is definitely a different and interesting take on food there. The scenery, El Salvador is absolutely beautiful. Crypto Beach, the tourist sites, and as well as the hiking opportunities they have there. You know, a lot of people from Boone and here around Appalachian State, a lot of people really get into hiking, and I think it's a really cool idea to almost go and hike other places and uh, basically hiking on a different continent. You know, it's you're still hiking, but it's in a different place. I think that's really cool. Um, and that brings me to the end of the presentation. So thank you for your time, and we really appreciate it.